And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that Joey Logano was on an episode of Man vs. Food? He did a food challenge at Sticky Lips Barbecue near Watkins Glen. He tried the Atomic Bomb Challenge, which is one oversized bun, 1/2 pound of hamburger, 1 pound of pulled pork, 1 pound of French fries, 1/2 pound of hot meat sauce, 1/4 pound of cheese, 8 strips of bacon, 4 dress sets of lettuce, tomato, and onion. He did not finish that, unfortunately. He was very close, but he just ran out of time. If you guys want to watch the episode, you can just look up Joey Logano, Man vs. Food, and there will be a website where you can watch it. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friends and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
Hello, everybody.
And Cam, a.k.a. Noticed_Cam.
Howdy, y'all.
So let's get down to talking about some podcast stuff. There's a couple things that we want to talk about. One is some good news and one is some unfortunate, very sad news. So we're going to start with the sad news. Nasboys would like to offer our condolences to the family and friends of Bruton Smith, the owner of SMI. He is responsible for tracks like Charlotte, Atlanta. I believe he was the one that came up with the idea for the All-Star race and night racing. He did a lot of great things for NASCAR, and he passed away, I believe, last week at the age of 95, which is very tragic. He was just at the Coke 600 a few weeks ago. So rest in peace, Bruton. Thank you for all that you've done for the sport of NASCAR.
Yep.
And now for the good news. I hate to do this because it's kind of a sad occasion, but we have to do this. If you look at our subscriber count, we have officially made it to 100 subscribers.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. It's absolutely crazy that we've been doing this for basically a year and a half now. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure it's around a year and a half. But man, it's just absolutely crazy how far we've come. Like, I remember one night after recording, we looked at our Social Blade analytics just for, just laughs, just to see like what it was. And we looked at the predictions tab and they didn't have us gutting 100 subscribers till I was about like 21, Christian was about 23 or 24, and Cam was about like 18 or 19. But Social Blade can suck our ding dongs because we got there right before then. So in your face, Social Blade. But in all seriousness, guys, thank you guys so much for all the support that you've given us on our videos. Thank you for watching our videos, whether we spam it to you in with self-promotion or you just say, oh, the Nasboys uploaded a video, let's watch it. We love you guys, and we're only getting started. We're just going to keep growing and growing from here. And we need your help to keep growing by sharing our content. And this is just the beginning. 100 subscriber special will come out probably next week. We will get planning on that. So just one last time, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and yeah, it's very cool. We reached 100 subs, and it's crazy because it was like 3 or 4 months ago, we were on like 60 subs.
Yeah,
maybe 3 months, and then over the last couple of months, we've really been growing. Our views have been definitely been doing well, and I just want to say thank y'all, and thank y'all for watching our content. And yeah, it's really encouraging also when we hear and see y'all be like, hey, Nasboys upload again. It's a very good video. Like some of y'all comment every once in a while. Great episode. We really enjoyed hearing y'all's thoughts on this. Stuff like that. Like we love your feedback. We appreciate your support. And yeah, we still got a long way to go. We still got a lot more things to come. So make sure you turn on those notifications as well, so you'll see those things.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I strictly remember when, we were in the Nasboys early on, and it's like after we hit 30 subscribers, I feel like it was like probably for like a month and a half, 2 months. It was like we were in a drought where we weren't getting any subscribers.
Yeah.
And then our sports podcast wasn't doing the best. And I remember like all of us were upset about it. And now it's like we've been growing. I mean, I think in the past 2 weeks, like 2 of our videos I've hit at least 100 views.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good for us. And and like Christian said, we love to hear the feedback. If there's something that you don't like that we do that you thought, would change, just send us some feedback in the comments. Let us know. And plus we like to talk to you guys. We love the NASCAR community. Like, it's one of those things where, I mean, that's how, which, you'll see later, but it's kind of how we all met. We're, if I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but we're all online friends. None of us have met IRL yet. These guys are some of the closest friends I got, from my people and, where I live to this. I mean, there's some really good friends, and, we appreciate all of you guys. And, pretty much that's it. I mean, Mike and Christian kind of summed it up for me.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. If you're a real fan, you listen to this whole thing. So anyways, let's get down to talking about some NASCAR. We are going to kick it off. We got 2 truck races to recap. First off, we are going to start off with the Knoxville truck race. We did not cover that because it was an off week, and it would be stupid to record one video for one race. So, Knoxville truck race, what did you guys think?
Well, they had it the day before Father's Day, and honestly, it was better than last year's. I thought that the Knoxville dirt race, and I was looking forward to it because Knoxville Raceway will have a little bit of a bias because I've worked some races with the track, but it was a good race. I think I picked Ty Majeski to win that one, and he finished like 4th. And I know that there's a lot of bumping, and we did see some wrecks, but yeah, it was definitely a very wild one. And Todd Gillen got the win, and John Hunter Nemechek got 2nd. So I don't really have much to comment about this because I honestly forgot some of what happened because it's 2 weeks ago. But we saw Derek Kraus do well, and Derek Kraus, he's I feel like one of the most underrated Truck Series drivers right now. I know it's kind of a hot take, but he's been running very solid this year. He's had a lot of top 10s. He's going to get a win soon.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the race. I didn't really watch the full thing, but from what I did see, it was a good race. I love dirt races. Even if it's a sloppy mess, it's just one of my favorite things because it's dirt. It's not like we see it all the time in NASCAR, so it's like I take it for granted when we do. And good race.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good race. I couldn't watch it all because I was tired and I fell asleep during the final break of the race. And then I woke up and it was drag race. So I'm like, it was that EDP meme of what the bleep happened. So, yeah, Todd Gilliland, he won the race. That was pretty shocking. I should have picked him. I didn't realize he was in the race, and I didn't want to decommit from my pick. But yeah, it was a pretty good race. Carson Hocevar, my favorite Truck Series driver, he was dominating the race. I was so happy watching that. And then all of a sudden his engine blew. So
right here, move up in front of Hocevar and take his lane away.
There's a 22 of Brett Moffitt right through the middle, and Derek Kraus down on the bottom.
Something wrong. Something wrong with Hocevar.
Got a tire down or something's wrong here. Oh, man.
We jinx him. We were just talking about how incredible he has been, and caution is out for the 5th time. Looking at Carson Hocevar's mother right there.
Well, she's got to be thinking the same thing as Carson. When is the break going to come? I mean, Carson's leading races, stuff happens. And
Josh, what are they saying in the 42 camp?
Carson really disappointed. Just came over the radio and said it blew up, guys. It blew up. So tough break for the 42. You see the pain on his mom's face watching that happen. Carson's been gritting through a lot lately, but he's frustrated right now.
So I was like, when will the bad luck ever end for Carson? Just absolutely terrible. I feel so bad for him. One driver that really impressed me was Ben Rhodes. He had like a big mud ball, and he was holding it after the race. He had like this big mud ball stuck in his grill, and he came back from it and ended up finishing 10th. So pretty nice job by Ben Rhodes. And Derek Kraus has been doing really well recently, Christian. You are right. I thought he was a contender to win the race as well. I believe he came in sixth. He came in sixth, but he was a lot in the front. So nice job by Derek. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 0 of you said great. 0 of you said good. 2 of you said mess/okay, okay, and none of you said bad. I think I know why people said mess/okay. Okay. I forgot to mention this. The Fox missed like a flip and then a truck going airborne. So here's the flip. Obviously, I'm sure some of you guys have seen it, but here it is again. And here is the truck going airborne. Which shout out to Jessica Friesen. She flipped over and it looked bad, but it wasn't like the worst flip I'd ever seen. She got on one of the parts of the track, I think the rumble strip, I'm not entirely sure, but she got on part of the track and then rolled over a little bit, and she was able to continue for just a few laps, and then she had to go to the garage for, I believe, a brake failure. So that's pretty cool that she was willing to continue the race even after flipping, but Fox missing that's just frustrating because there was like no even mention of it, and I heard that the announcers weren't even at the track, which is very stupid to me because I understand why in COVID days, I understand why they wouldn't be there, but COVID is lower to the point where these guys can come to the track, and they didn't come to the track. I don't understand why they did not come to the track. I'm sure Knoxville has a place where the broadcasters could be, but whatever. It was very stupid. I'm surprised no one even mentioned, hey, guys, this truck flipped over. You should mention that. We should say we don't have video, but we should at least mention it.
Yeah.
And, go ahead, Kim.
I'm sorry, Mike. I was just going to say we should all just applaud NASCAR Fox for all the good things they've done in the community. Really.
Yes, all the commercials.
Yeah,
all the dumb skits.
I don't know how you guys have managed to suck so bad, but it's kind of impressive. It's impressive. It really is. It's very impressive to me.
Well, we have been talking about how their broadcasts this year have been very off.
Right.
And this is our on NBC. NBC is started back up again. I made a meme about, I hate to bring up myself, but I made a meme about the Fox cameraman, which you can see on the screen. That I made was because of with the dirt flip, it was just, even though it wasn't a truck in the pictures, you get the point. They had no eyes on it, but Knoxville, they have an announcer's booth. They have a big facility. Wow, I'm not outstanding, but I was just dumbfounded by why the announcers were not there.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Friesen, it's something about tracks that we don't expect flips to happen at. That there's been flips this year. We didn't expect Fisher to flip at Charlotte. We didn't expect to see Jessica Friesen, of all people, to flip a truck at a dirt track. That was pretty surprising. I remember I was at work and I saw the tweet about it. I'm like, what?
Right. And then the truck that went on his side, Brett Moffitt. I'm not entirely sure what happened with that because, again, that's probably when I fell asleep. But, yeah, just stupid quality by Fox. I really wish that they would give up their TV contract next year because it's just – the coverage has been bad recently. I feel like they care more about doing, skits and appealing to the younger generation than they do about the actual racing. Because you need the in-between of you got to appeal to the younger generation. You got to get the younger generation involved because that's what's going to keep NASCAR growing. But at the same time, you got to focus on the racing. The younger generation that I even talk to in several Instagram group chats even thinks that your skits are crappy. Your skits with Michael Waltrip especially and Jamie Little are trash. Jamie Little is not a bad reporter. She's not a great broadcaster. I think she should stay on pit road, but she is an excellent pit reporter. And you guys are underusing her. You're making her do these stupid skits with Waltrip, and they just look crappy and make the network look bad. unlike NBC, they have so much NASCAR coverage, NASCAR shows like the Dale Jr. Download, for example. They have great analysis, and they're even fixing their volume problem. Like we'll talk about with the Nashville Cup race and the Nashville Xfinity Race, it didn't seem as loud to me. It didn't seem as annoying to me as it did last year. So they're clearly blowing Fox out of the water one race in already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I would also like to add the fact, coming from a 16-year-old, that, NASCAR does not do a good job coming from me. I mean, if you look at it, your whole purpose as a sport to get the younger generation a part of you is to make them fall in love with the sport, right?
Right.
But when you push them away with your crappy antics, and you've been getting hate on it for at least a year and a half, 2 years now, and you still haven't fixed it, what does that say about you?
The only good thing that Fox said was that they want the All-Star race track to rotate. That's it. But anyways.
I got to bring this up too. We mentioned this during the reaction video when we were reacting to Talladega, the 2002 Aaron's 499. We talked about this even then. It's very cringe, some of the stuff they're trying to do to appeal to the younger generation, which they should appeal and try to do things for the younger generation. But the way they do it is horrible. The broadcasts are not even as good as they used to be back when Fox first started. They would show so much more aspect to the racing. They would show things involving the car, like why they do certain things to the car, and have not just a technical aspect, but an engineering aspect. And there's a lot more that I could say, but I'm not going to go into. But being as someone, I guess you call me the boomer of the I don't know, you say the boomer of the channel, but it's ridiculous, and we need to go back to our roots.
Right.
Yeah. In our channel, it's like Christian, he's the oldest, Mike's the middle child.
Yeah, I encourage you guys to watch that reaction video, not just to support us, but just to look at the difference of how great NASCAR on Fox was compared to nowadays.
Yeah.
So, anyways, no thoughts on the Knoxville truck race and no driver of the day. I'm gonna give it to Carson just because of how much he dominated, but really sucks that he blew his engine. If he didn't blow his engine, he would have won without a doubt.
Driver of the day, I think it's gotta be Ben Rhodes, in my opinion.
Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, right. My driver of the day is gonna be the Fox camera crew because they just did a great job. Great job that race.
Fact. All right. So now let's talk about the Nashville truck race. What did you guys think?
Ryan Preece, as y'all know, I lost a lot of respect for him after Charlotte, and I was kind of disappointed to see him win at Nashville. But if I'm correct, it's Preece's second straight win at the track in the Truck Series, and he got the dub holding off Zayn Smith.
But Hocevar is chased down Zayn Smith, but they're both chasing down Ryan Preece.
And they are on the move. How about this? Under 0.3 of a second. They have closed it with a couple of laps to go.
Something happened. Something's going wrong with the 17 of Ryan Preece, I think.
Smith right to the bumper. And he's got company with Hocevar. Can Ryan Preece hold off Zayn Smith? The lead was more than a second, and now it's at 0.3. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Just over a mile left.
You think that thing shut off or something there for a moment? He had a second lead and it evaporated in a second.
Preece now jumps to the bottom to try to block Zayn Smith. Smith up top.
Zayn's going to lose momentum. He may lose second to Hocevar.
Hocevar now to the inside of Zayn Smith for second, but that's just what Ryan Preece wants to see. He wants to see those two battling. It's going to be Ryan Preece going back-to-back at Nashville.
And Stuart Friesen got fifth. He worked his way up to front a couple of times. And Todd Majeski, another top 5. But I honestly did not watch this race because I was at work, but I did see the highlights of it, and I thought it was an A race. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't bad either. It was just like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of racing. I tell you that much. It was just all right. It was, you know what it was? It was mid. Just mid.
Mid.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. It was really mid. There was just nothing too eventful about it that like I can say like this was great or whatever. So definitely a mid race. Now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 11% of you said great. 78% of you said good. None of you said meh/okay, and 11% of you said bad. Henry24257 says lots of side-by-side racing, and Priest won 8 out of 10 through Priest. Amazing racing, I would say 9 out of 10. Wow. Driver of the day is a tie between Matt Crafton and Zayn Smith. Yeah, I mean, the racing was really good side by side. Besides the leaders were really able to pull away in all 3 series. I'll give it to Zayn Smith too. He dominated that race, and then Priest came alive at the end. Another one where I didn't realize he was entered, and I could have picked him, but again, I did not want to trade my pick away and be dumb. So yeah.
Well, I forgot to mention this, but it was second straight win for David Gillen racing as well. But
yeah,
driver of the day, it's kind of tough for this one because Ryan Priest led the most laps, so 74, and he won. Then there was Zayn Smith who led 70 laps, and Parker Kilgerman led 2, but he finished like 20 something. And another thing we'll talk about a little bit later is the heat. Like there's drivers with a lot of heat problems over the weekend, but I gotta say Ryan Priest driver today.
Cam?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ryan Priest.
Okay.
He kind of just did his thing. I mean, you know, especially when you go back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Ryan Priest, but he should get a Truck Series ride, but he will probably end up getting the 10. So now let's take a look at the Xfinity race. What did you guys think?
Xfinity race. As y'all saw, Justin Agar was running the Hellman scheme, which he revealed at the Junior Motorsports Fan Day, which I was there, and he won. So I think both me and Mike picked Agar to win. So shout out to us, I guess. But yeah, he got the win, and I was very happy to see Sam Mayer playing around with Ty Gibbs. You know what I'm saying? He was showing him what's up. But still, he do nothing because, you know, he kind of got violated by getting beat up by a leprechaun. But other than that, I thought that I'm sorry, but I thought that it was pretty good race. I saw some action, and yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that one. It was like a 6.5 out of 10 race.
I really didn't even get to watch the race, so I can't really give my opinion on it.
It was an okay race. I was a little bit tired again, just like the truck race at Knoxville. That's what happens when you come home from work. But it was an okay race, I'd say. I'm so happy Justin Allgaier won, and he won in dominating fashion. He said that was probably the best car he's ever had. And like Christian mentioned with the heat, apparently I heard Noah Gragson threw up in the car like twice with 50 laps to go. So I have a video of his onboard, but I won't show him throwing up because 1, I have not seen it, and 2, that's gross. So yeah, very, very unfortunate for Noah, but it was very hot in the track. Just normal hot. So yeah, it was an alright race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know where he finished, but I know Jeffrey Earnhardt got 7th. But Hendrick, Junior Motorsports had a lot of cars up from him. He saw Mary at 5th. If I'm correct, Josh Berry led at some points. I know Trevor Bayne was up there, but Algar led, as you mentioned, the most laps, 134 of 188. So, yeah, it was definitely a hot day. And I'm looking now, Noah Gragson got 13th.
Yeah. Get Trevor Bayne a ride, and Parker Kligerman, too. The 3 drivers that deserve a ride in NASCAR: Ryan Priest, Trevor Bayne, and Parker Kligerman. That's my opinion. So 11% of you said great, 78% of you said good. Oh wait, this is the truck race again. My bad. Xfinity race. Here we go. None of you said great. 86% of you said good. 14% of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. Henry24257 says lots of side-by-side racing, and that's all you can really ask for sometimes. 7 out of 10. Agree, Henry. Now, for the Gibbs versus Mayer thing, 30% of you were on Gibbs' side, and 70% of you were on Mayer's side. Here's the thing. I'm on Sam Mayer's side, absolutely, because it was a complete accident. You could see Ty Gibbs getting loose, and it was just the way the air was. And he only got into him because Mayer was way down on the bottom, and he was about to get him low, and Ty Gibbs just spun into him. It's just a racing deal, and Ty Gibbs even accepted that. But somebody pointed out that Ty Gibbs has an anger problem, and he looked like he was trying to pass Sam Mayer, or not pass Sam Mayer, but try to wreck Sam Mayer, because I guess he thought he did that on purpose. So here's the video of that.
Ty Gibbs loose.
Around he goes. The 54 straightened back out by Sam Mayer. Now he catches it.
So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I could see where this guy is coming from, because you can see Ty Gibbs trying to turn Mayer a little bit. I don't know if it's to get his car back up to speed, or because he was pissed that Sam Mayer wrecked him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I got Mayer's side on this one. I mean, it was accidental. I feel like this happens almost all the time, where NASCAR drama happens and drivers are just butthurt, not realizing that it's just a racing incident. I mean, how many times have we seen stupid stuff go on just because of a racing incident? I mean,
right.
You know, it's just
Matt DiBenedetto is a great example. He was apparently upset at Ty Majeski for his wreck at Nashville. But if you look at the video, it was a clear accident. So Matt DiBenedetto is an overrated crybaby, as per usual.
Oh, wow. I will say that it's typical Gibbs, but with Mayer, I mean, I like your motorsports, so I'm just keeping it how it is. Mayer, he's a good driver, everything, but I mean, I wouldn't say he got revenge on Ty Gibbs. That wouldn't make any sense. But I feel like, then again, there's always incidents that get blown out of proportion. I feel like this was kind of blown out of proportion, but because of what happened earlier this year in Martinsville, of course it did.
Right. Driver of the day, Ryan Vargas. I'm gonna give it to Justin Allgaier. Dominant car.
Justin.
I didn't watch it, but yeah, I guess I'll say Justin too.
All right. So now let's talk about the Cup race. There is quite a bit of stuff to talk about with this. What did you guys think?
Well, I guess we could first talk about the start time of 5 p.m. I get why they did that. I think they're probably doing that because of ratings. I think they're trying to get better ratings, or maybe with the heat. But it was definitely a late start time, and I knew we saw that it was going to rain, and honestly, I thought it was going to rain the race and move the whole thing to Monday, but it didn't. It decided to rain about lap 140, and they had to restart the race at like 11 o'clock on a channel that half the people watching the race don't have. So that was a pretty bad move there. But then again, NBC, this broadcast was way better. I really enjoyed the broadcast from what I'd seen and heard. I didn't see the whole race because I was at a baseball game, and also my TV signal went out for the second half of the race. But I was quite surprised that I picked Bubba Wallace. If y'all remember, I picked Bubba Wallace. I was surprised he ran that well, because first off, he did finish first in practice, but he was 30th in qualifying, and then all of a sudden you see himself up there. He's in the top 10. He's doing well. But every single time, bad pit stops, he would fall and lose a lot of spots. And we'll get about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later, about his feud with his crew. But I thought that it was definitely better than last year's race. We saw some more passing. We saw different leaders. I know that JGR dominated most of the race, with Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch leading by 250 to 300 laps. But we saw pit strategy. We saw different drivers moving up there, and a lot of swapping. We saw guys like Ryan Blaney. He was up there for a good bit. There was another, Austin Cendrick. He had a problem. He started like 24th. He worked his way up. He had an unscheduled pit stop under green. He worked his way all the way back up and finished 7th. He's honestly my driver today. But it was a very good race. What about y'all?
We're going to cut back after this little pause, and we'll get back to it. we're back now. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, as I was about to say, you know, I only watched like the second half of the race, but I mean, you know, you really in this race, it was kind of cool to see. There was definitely a lot of pit strategy going into this race. I mean, you know, you saw drivers going in early, going in late. Kyle Larson was in that pit strategy, and so were a couple others, but you know, just like Christian said, Bubba Wallace's crew team was definitely holding him back. You know, it was kind of like he'd get up there and then they take forever, get up there, take forever. You know, and I also like to point out that Logano had the same thing where he just had a really crappy car, but yet it was opposite of Bubba. He actually had like a good team. If it wasn't for his team clutching up at the end, he wouldn't have got the position he got. But overall, it was a good race. Definitely some battling. Congrats to Chase Elliott. You know, I'm glad his fans weren't toxic like I was expecting, but no, it didn't happen. So congrats, Chase.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, I'd say. The race was almost 7 hours long, including rain delays. So pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty good race, I'd say. There was a lot of side-by-side racing. I know we've been mentioning that a lot, but there was. Leaders looked like they could pull away pretty easy. Denny Hamlin, he had probably the best car, and then the second best car was Martin Truex Jr., but then it was Chase Elliott who came alive during the night right after the big rain delay when they had that big storm. And I thought they had lost the track personally. I thought they were just going to shift it to Monday and, you know, it was just going to be that's it. And but no, NASCAR did a great job because Nashville has no curfew. So they just dried the track. The rain stopped at a good time, thank God. And eventually they just dried the track and then got the cars back up and running, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to mention because of the heat, some drivers are starting to run these things called cool suits, which is basically a t-shirt or whatever. I'm not entirely sure what kind of a shirt it is, but it's a shirt that they will wear underneath their fire suit, and it will bring like cool air or water or something to them that will keep them cool throughout these hotter races like Nashville, Texas, for example. Some drivers in the field that were wearing it included William Byron and Denny Hamlin. Some drivers really liked it, like Jimmy Johnson before he retired, and then he got Dale Jr. into it. And some drivers, like Joey Logano, said they will never wear a cool suit again. And Hamlin said that he wants to just tough it out and just not wear a cool suit. But due to the excruciating heat, which we saw in Noah Gragson's car, it was almost 140 degrees. His crew chief was like, nah, man, just wear the freaking cool suit. And he did. So I think that's a neat little invention by NASCAR. And I'm sure it's been shown before, but I thought I would bring it up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't really have much to add on to that, because you pretty much nailed it. But I was gonna say, my fantasy team did poor on Sunday because I had Byron, I had Chris Buescher. They didn't do well. They finished in the 30s, and we saw Kyle Busch. He was up there, but he ended up dropping to 21st. Truex was 22nd. So a lot of drivers that I thought were gonna do well did not. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I had I'm trying to pull up my lineup, but okay, here it is. So I had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He was crappy. I thought he would be good because he had been doing good the last couple of weeks, and he did pretty decent at Nashville last year, but he ended up doing crappy. We got Kyle Larson. He didn't do the best. I think he got like a top 15, and I picked him to win. Austin Dillon, he was crappy the entire race. Kurt Busch did pretty good. Denny Hamlin was very dominant, and Kyle Busch actually did a good job. So, yeah. By the way, go join the official Nasboys Fantasy League if you guys would like to. Link is in the description, and DM me on Instagram to let me know that you're in the league so I can add you to the chat. So, now, let's take a look.
Now, I was going to say, Cam, did you have any other thoughts about the race?
I think personally, me being me, I thought they should have pushed the race till tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but how stupid are you, NASCAR? Like, once again, it's like when you look at it, it's like me and Mike were just talking about this the day of the race, where it's like there was a bunch of rain around the exact time they wanted to start. Like, it was like 4 o'clock, 50%, 5 o'clock, this percentage, 7, this, like, and throughout the whole night. Like, it was supposed to just rain all night long. So it's like, if I was NASCAR, I would have just pushed it to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. But overall, I thought it was a good race. That ending was pretty good in my opinion. Like one of the racing like things that were happening that people were really pointing out was some of the battles that were happening in the back that were pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing to mention too was a lot of people were, of course, upset at the fact that there was a wreck between Brad Keselowski and Cole Custer. Here it is.
Blaney has moved up to third and contacted into the wall. Brad Keselowski gets into the wall after the contact from the 41 of Custer. They stay green.
Stay up.
And they did not call the yellow flag. My thoughts on this. I feel like it could have gone either way because NASCAR has called cautions for similar incidents like that before. And a lot of people think it's because they're biased towards Chase Elliott. I don't know really what to say about that because they do have a little bit of bias towards Chase Elliott, and I can understand the convenience, but I'm not going to go and rant that it's biased towards Chase Elliott because I just have no opinion. But at the same time, there was no debris that I saw that went on the track. I will post a video from Kyle Busch. Probably, let's see, today's Tuesday, so I will probably post that tomorrow at the day of recording this, or actually I can show it to you on the screen right here. There was like no debris, and Brad Keselowski managed to make it to the access ramp, even though his tires looked really, really flat by the time the race ended. You could see a shot of him on TV as Chase Elliott was doing his cool down lap.
My thing is with that whole thing is NASCAR kind of puts themselves in their own grave. And, I'm not going to speak of the whole controversy of if Chase Elliott is this and it's rigged and that. But, I kind of want to more talk about how inconsistent NASCAR is with their rulings. One race it's this, the other race it's that. And I think that's what leads fans to just be all confused and mad because it's like, well, if you called it like this last race, why wouldn't you call it like this race? A great example of this is just like how in baseball, if a strike was called and the ump says it's a ball, and then the next pitch or the next batter up and they throw the exact same pitch in the exact same spot, and then the ump calls it a strike, it's like, it's inconsistent, and I think that's really what is the problem with NASCAR, and that's one thing that they do need to fix is. I understand there's certain times where it is hard to distinct it from if it should be a yellow or not. But I feel like there's a lot of times, though, where it should have been a yellow or where it was a yellow once and it was this time where it's like some of those really distinct ones where it's like it's just obvious. Those are the ones that should be called. Personally, I think they should have let it roll. There was no debris. Keselowski seemed to basically manage himself. But just like Mike said, we've seen other situations like that where they have called the yellow. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those 50-50 things. What do you do?
Yeah, I agree with you, Cam. Like, I do feel like people kind of blew it out of proportion. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But Chase Elliott, he's showing that he's a very, very good driver this year. I mean, he's second win, yes, but he's led the most laps of everybody. He's the points leader. And I think I might have changed my mind on my my Elite Eight championship predictions because I know we were talking about it 2 weeks ago about some of our mid-season like picks and all that, and I was like, Chase Elliott's going to go. I don't know as much. I know a lot of people don't like Elliott right now, especially this season. There's a lot of Elliott haters, but he's doing really good this year. I could see him winning like 3 more races this year. And I think that they have a really good team and chemistry. And that's all I got to say. I know that I also forgot to mention 2 other drivers that had my fantasy lineup. Christopher Bell got 8th and Harvick got 10th.
The last thing I'm going to mention is congrats to Harvick actually putting up some good numbers. In this past race, he was up in like the top 5. I feel like I haven't seen him up in front. You said what?
He's been good the last couple weeks. He's been running top 10. He's been very consistent lately. He just hasn't got a win.
I know, man. Well, because let's be honest, this season's not been the best for Kevin Harvick. Yeah, I think anybody can say that at least. So, it's always nice to see him running up close, especially in top 5. He went back down a little bit, but still good to see him up there in that 4 car. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what thoughts were. Lots of great racing and strategy by Henry24257, 8 out of 10. The finish line NASCAR says F Chase Elliott.
Billy
B. Jazz says effing rain delay. Dan's _diecast says amazing racing, especially with some of the old guys. Congratulations to Elliott. And Hunter C _06 says the finish shows NASCAR's bias.
Wow.
Driver of the day, not Chase Elliott, and either Truex Jr. or Denny Hamlin. Yes, Dan, I agree with that. I gotta tie it between Truex and Denny Hamlin as well, but I think I'll give it to the edge to Denny Hamlin. He seemed like he had more of a dominant car.
Well, as we saw there with the answers, I feel like, as I mentioned, Elliott, there's been a lot of Elliott haters this year. But Denny Hamlin and Austin Cendrick are my 2 drivers today. Hamlin led the most laps, but Austin Cendrick, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, he had fallen back. He started towards the back. He worked his way up, had the unscheduled pit stop, and then finished in the top 10.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we could talk about a couple more things. Obviously, first off, Martin Truex Jr., he is returning for the 2023 season, which is very shocking to me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. Well, I wouldn't say I'm glad because I'm not the biggest fan of Martin Truex, but I'm glad that TRD is not going to have to rush another driver.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm not a Truex Jr. fan by no means, but I was surprised to see him return back to the 19 next season. That's for sure. It was a good move. It was the better move, but definitely a surprise to me.
Yeah, it was a smarter move for sure.
Yeah, and then as well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He is returning to JTG for a multi-year deal. I would say that was deserved. He's been running pretty decent, very outperforming his equipment over the last couple of years. So Stenhouse, he's been impressing me. I think this is the team where he really belongs at. Not too big, but not small enough to get out of business like we thought. Downsizing to 1 car, especially with the next gen, really helped them.
Well, I mean, I agree with that because, as you mentioned, he's been outperforming the equipment that he's been in. He's done better than I thought it would. Yeah, not that many wins, but I mean, for him, I'm surprised he's there for that long. That he's been there that long. I thought he'd maybe go to another team, but I mean, that's what he chose. That's his decision. I don't have anything else to comment, but I'm sure Cam does. What do you got to say?
Well, I'm glad you guys know already. I hate to see that 47 go into more awful, terrible Kroger schemes, but it's okay. I'm willing to risk my eyes for his happiness. I roast Stenhouse a lot, but I really don't hate the guy. I think he's a pretty good driver for what he has to drive in. I was hoping that he could get a better ride, but maybe it just couldn't happen. I'm not saying like too big of a better ride, but maybe just a better ride a little bit more. Because really he, over the past, I'd say since 2020, I mean, he's been racing the crap out of that 47. And yes, he has had some embarrassing moments, but he's also had some really good ones, where he's ran up pretty close. And not even in Daytona or Talladega. Like, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about like Darlington, and other tracks like that. Now, I know you guys are remembering, well, I do anyways. I think it was 2020 or 2021's Darlington where he spun on the second lap by himself.
Yeah.
Now, that's pretty embarrassing. But I tell you, he's ran pretty good at Darlington before. And I do think it's well deserved. I wish he would have gotten a better ride, but still congrats to Stenhouse because he's racing the crap out of that car. But man, your schemes are terrible, dude. Really. Every time I see your scheme, I just want to scrape my eyeballs out.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you. It's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I don't mean to spoil ideas, but we had an idea where we were going to review some of the worst paint schemes. So comment down below if you guys want to see that idea, and we will do it. And we had a lot of Ricky Stenhouse ideas. So
there's about like 27 schemes I could probably think of.
I could think of
half of them.
like
The worst part is
half of them schemes probably.
Yeah, and half of them are the same thing. So it's kind of the worst part about it,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, for all my OG Nasboys fans, you guys remember when we did one of our first scheme reactions, and we had that one where it was like an all black car and nothing on it. That was a good fun. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if there's anything else you have on the news, Mike, but one thing I got to talk about, even though Bubba Wallace impressed at Nashville, he was in some controversy because he lashed out very harshly at his crew. And this is something I was talking about on the Racing Spotlight show. I felt like he went a little bit out of the line here. I mean, he literally told his crew chief to leave him the F alone.
Right.
That's literally what he told him. And the crew chief's trying to help you. He's doing his job. He has nothing to do with the slow pit stop. He's not there. I mean, he's not on the changing the tire. You know what I'm saying? Yes, pit stops. They've been horrible on pit stops this year, but I feel like Bubba kind of went a little bit too far with that. And I get he's frustrated because he's lost so many spots on pit road. But then again, pit stops are so hard to do. I mean, having to change tires, even lifting the car, the fuel cans, it's hard. And, even if you're 0.5 off seconds wise, you could lose a good bit of spots on pit road.
Right.
So I feel like he needs the crew just needs to get together and have a meeting or something about that. So Bubba talking about it online or in an interview blasting them, they need to talk about it with the core. And figure out what the problem is before going and saying that to the public, because it's just, and he was saying stuff on the radio too. He didn't give them a pep talk, but then again, the pep talk needs to be among the crew, not him telling them what to do.
Yeah. My opinion is Bubba's once again showing his butt, and I think he's ignorant sometimes, and I think he's kind of a rebel when it comes to doing things the right way, in my opinion. A great example. Sometimes even the Nasboys, we argue, but you never even see me going into NASCAR group chats and just talking about somebody because I'm mad about it,
Right.
And I'm a 16-year-old who's not even in NASCAR. So it's what are you doing? Because at the end of the day, it's your crew chief is kind of like your family. You know what I mean? Those are the dudes you got to put your most trust in. So it's they may suck, but yelling is not going to get anything done, and I just think he was showing his butt and once again proving he was a jerk. Don't get me wrong. I think it sucks that your crew team can screw you sometimes, but on the positive side, look how much better you've been running with the new team you have. You have a way better car than a lot of people. So it's I don't know how much you can really whine, Bubba, but you whine at least once every 5 races, in my opinion. There's always something new you're whining about. I need to give you some crybaby tears or something. You don't even see Stenhouse whining like this, and he's worse, and driving than you. So it's I don't know how this happens with you, man, but you got to quit.
Yeah. This is a controversial topic, but it does need to be said. Bubba Wallace is one of the biggest crybabies. And it's not because of the race crap. It is not at all because of that. I get it. That's, his opinion. And, I understand where he's coming from that. But when he is racing and when he gets wrecked, he is an absolute baby. That's why I don't like him. And that's why there's some fans in this race that are not racist. You can tell they're not racist. but they don't like him just because he whines. And that's why a lot of people like the acquisition of 23XI for Kurt Busch, because Kurt Busch has gone through similar issues like Bubba Wallace has gone through. Kurt Busch was one of the biggest hotheads in NASCAR history. And look at him now. Kurt Busch is such a good guy now. He's a very down-to-earth person. He's very calm. Yes, there's moments on the radio where he screams and gets mad sometimes, but he handles it a lot better than he would have when he was in his 20s. So I feel like Kurt Busch, I've said this before when Kurt went to 2311, Kurt is going to be there to help Bubba, whether it be through driving or through his emotions. And I've seen a little bit of a change in Bubba. He's not whining as much as he used to before, but it's still there. It's getting better, thank goodness. But Bubba Wallace, he does get very upset, and I get that, it's passion. You are very passionate. There's a lot of drivers that are passionate, but there's a point where it gets old and you end up looking like a baby when you're already one of the most hated drivers for a reason that is just because of all your opinions and NASCAR's crappy fan base at times.
Right. And it doesn't help that. But
it's just not a good look in my opinion. And he shouldn't have yelled at his crew chief because it's not Booty's fault. Booty doesn't go down there and change the tires and fuel your car up. That's your crew. Denny Hamlin should probably go and fire a lot of his crew members, if not all of them, because they are very crappy. Yes, Bubba Wallace is not that bad of a driver, and they should fix his pit crew and get their stuff together. But you shouldn't get so harsh at the crew chief. You should be frustrated at your pit crew, but don't get mad at the guy who makes the calls for you to pit and make sure your car is good enough to make you get your top 15 or even at your top 10 or top 5 once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. And Booty's one of the nicest crew chiefs in the business. I mean, he's been in NASCAR for a long time, and that's just kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, and let's not also add the fact on that Bubba Wallace is built like a fish stick. I mean, an absolute corn dog of a body. I can't stand him sometimes. He's built like a water bottle. He's like he
had a water bottle right there.
He's built like one of those traffic cones, man. I can't stand him sometimes. His Christmas tree body built like stuff. Can't stand him. He's like those Toyo tires mascot. He's just kind of like fat and lumpy. You know what I mean? I just want to beat the crap out of him sometimes. I can't stand Bubba. He's the type of person where I hope he wakes up and like he just hits his shin every day or like stubs his big toe every day on like that little corner of his drawer he has. I just can't stand him sometimes.
You are probably going to get a lot of fans rioting in our comment section. But you know what? Fine. We'll take you on.
Well, speaking of roasting and stuff, we got the memes of the week. What are some of the nominees?
Well, I was just getting ready to say the nominee. Remember how, like, just a few minutes ago, I just said how crappy NASCAR's fan base is because they go after, stupid things sometimes. Here it is. For context, this is literally the NASCAR fandom. I just thought this was so funny. And this is one of the best memes of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty funny. I think we had a unanimous decision for that one. There is a couple other, memes that we had in consideration for me of the week. Michael Marutz's YouTube short on Chase Elliott. There was
honey, is that you? I'm ready to serve my country.
There's one from Laugh Lap, but we're not going to show that one because of language. And then the one with mine with the NASCAR Fox. But what about you, Cam? What do you think about the memes?
I thought they were all, there was actually a couple of good ones, but the one I liked the most is the NASCAR fandom one. I like the dancing video with like the country trap background. Just kind of makes it better.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Country trap song. My fault, not background.
All right. So now let's make our picks for this weekend's races over at Road America. We got the Xfinity and we got the Cup. So I'm going to make probably boring picks. I'll just give you a hint. For Xfinity, I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger.
I had a feeling you were going to pick him, but first off, I got to say this about Road America. Please keep Road America on the schedule. It's one of my favorite road courses. It's 4 miles long. It's much different. If there's an uphill and a downhill, they're going through the woods. I think it's a cool track. It needs to stay. And I'm hoping this race will be better than last year's, and I'm sure it will be. And they've had plenty of great Xfinity series at this track. So I'm expecting to see a lot of action on Saturday. Before we get into my pick for it, there's a lot of different driver changes for this race. We got Tyler Reck driving the 48 car in this race. He was on the entry list, and I saw Ryan Vargas is going to be driving for Mike Harmon Racing in this one. There's a couple of drivers like Chris Dyson driving the 35, Andy Lally, which I think he will be a very underrated contender. I think he could contend in this one. Cole Custer's on 07, but I think for me, it's between two people. I picked him to win at, if I'm correct, Portland, but he got second, Myatt Snyder. And then the other guy I'm looking at is Justin Agar. Justin Agar has won. I think he's won here before. He's ran well here before. There's one year he ran out of gas under caution and lost the race. But Agar has plenty of experience here. I could see him going back to back and winning this one. And if not him, Myatt Snyder.
All right.
For me, I actually have Noah Gregson. I think sometimes he can put off some pretty good performances, and I know at a Road America he's been close to winning. So I don't know if he has one. I don't think he has, but I know he's been up in like the top 5 a couple of times, and I don't know. I just have like this strong feeling that he's going to have this major comeback.
And for the Cup Series, but first, before I make my Cup Series pick, basically what Christian was talking about, if you guys have not heard, NASCAR is thinking about bringing a race back to Chicago. Now, either it will be at Chicagoland Motor Speedway, which is probably where it should be, or a new Chicago street course. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of this idea. But I was also not the biggest fan of the what's it called? The Los Angeles Coliseum. Took me a minute. But it was a great race. So I'm not going to judge it too much until they say that it's going to be on the schedule and I watch it, but it's not the best of ideas right now. Chicagoland coming back. I understand what people are saying, that it's a mid-track, and I somewhat agree. But just like Auto Club, I think that the next gen car is going to make the racing a lot better if they decide to race there next year. But I don't think it should be replacing Road America because, one, Road America is still new to the Cup Series schedule. This is going to be the second race. Road America is a Midwest Southern track, whatever you want to call it.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin, and that's an area for, NASCAR, in my opinion. It sold out last year. It was on 4th of July weekend, and it's going to be on 4th of July weekend again this year. And I just think it would be stupid if they took it off. It's a good road course. It's one of my favorite road courses, and I'm not the biggest fan of road courses, and I like that track. So I really hope they don't take it off. I think that they should take off maybe Texas because not a lot of fans like it. But I don't think they will because it still sells tickets because Texas is in the South, and it's just the place for NASCAR. So
yeah. My opinion on that whole thing is, I love Road America. It produces good racing every year. Xfinity Cup, whatever. I do think it's one of the better road courses we have. Hate me or not, it was really eventful. So I'm excited to see how it runs. Now, here's my thing. It would maybe change my mind a little bit if it ran like super bad this year. Then maybe it would change my mind. But until then, I'm pretty stuck up that we should keep Road America. And, Chicagoland, I would like to see back. I like Chicagoland. I miss it a little bit for sure. But the street race idea for Chicago, like, why Chicago? Why Chicago, man? There's so many better places, dude. You're gonna hit like a pothole in Chicago. Like, you know how crappy and run down they are. You're gonna have a shootout mid-race, dude. It's not gonna be something fun.
Exactly.
Come on, dude. They're gonna like run into the King Von mural or whatever, dude. It's just not gonna be a good idea, dude. Like, why Chicago? Like, do a better area. I don't know. I mean, like, heck, California has a better street than that.
That's gonna make the traffic there worse.
I mean, that's true. I will say this, like with Chicago street course, I don't think it's a good idea either. That's a horrible idea. Chicagoland, I'm open to it, but I never was a fan of Chicagoland. It had some very bad races. Now, if I could see them maybe thinking, I think they should do a street race. It would probably be either Houston or Detroit. Now, the reason why I'm saying Detroit is because of the IndyCar track. They should do that because it was cool. But not Chicago of all places. No. Or New York. No, I don't want them to go to New York and do a street race there either.
I mean, I don't want them to do a street race, period. But if they have to, I would go with Belle Isle in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
You know, if I had to pick one that I just wish like they could do a street course on, do Tokyo, please. Like, I know it would never happen. But, like, a Tokyo street race would be amazing. I'd just like to say that. Like, the whole aesthetic vibe of it being late at night and all lit up in the city would be such a good vibe. But it'll never happen.
Right. Or St. Petersburg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that was a good one, Mike.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My pick for the Cup Series race, I think Chase Elliott is going to go back-to-back. He won here last year. He's the road course king. Or he was the road course king, but I don't know about now. But I think he'll go back to back.
How many times have you stolen my pick, Mike? How many times? But I'm just playing. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough one to predict here because, yes, Cendrick was strong here last year. Kyle Larson led some laps, so did Elliott. Elliott won the race. Man, this is such a hard one because there's some drivers like. There's some drivers like AJ, which I'll talk more about him in a minute, but I feel like he definitely has a shot. And I know this is going to be a very odd one, but I'm a little biased with this one. But Ross Chastain, he might run well. He might be up there in the top 5. And I want to be different because we keep doing the same picks. So as much as I think Chase Elliott could go back-to-back and win this one, I'm going to say AJ gets his second Cup win. And wins. Okay. Or no, it's not a second Cup win because he's won at Watkins Glen and he won
third Cup win.
Yeah, so third Cup win for AJ.
Now I have one. I'm going Austin Cendrick.
Okay.
Yes, bro. He's gonna pull up and he's gonna show people about that Xfinity Series life. He's been running that track for a while, and he's gotten a couple wins on his plate from that track.
Right.
He's solid. He's a solid pick. I think that's a very logical one too.
You know what he is? He's like the NASCAR driver in the Xfinity Series race, but he's actually the new guy. But he has way more experience than a lot of the guys on that track, and I think he's gonna get around his way just fine. I mean, he has a car that just like he practically did in Xfinity. I think he's gonna run great.
Yeah, that is a really good pick, Cam. But anyways, that's going to close out this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials and join the official Nasboys Fantasy League. We will see you guys in the next episode.
Hold on. I want to add this. Listen, we're going to start doing some like counts, like like goals. Let's get this video to, what do you guys think? 12 likes?
12.
Let's do 12 likes.
Let's start with 12, yeah.
Yeah, 12 likes. All right. Now you can say the rest, Mike. Sorry.
Well, hold on. What are we going to do if the video gets 12 likes, Cam?
I don't know. We just got to – here's the thing. Here's what my proposal is to everybody that likes this video, okay? The more likes we get, it just means the more recommendations we're going to get on YouTube.
Exactly.
The more subscribers we get is the more crazy we're going to get with the videos. So 100% hit that like button because – if you have patience, you'll get a better reward later on. Promise that.
Bet. But, yeah. Thanks for watching.
Also 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Hope y'all have fun watching fireworks and enjoying your Independence Day. Go to a cookout, have a barbecue, and have a good one.
Yeah, shove a glizzy down your throat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Celebrate your freedom. Celebrate your freedom by watching some NASCAR, eat some burgers, eat some glizzies, whatever you want to do.
Hot dogs.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
You only calling now. You wanted what I